Mount Hermon in Israel, located 2 miles above sea level, is a site where Enoch told us that the watchers were fallen angels descended to earth. Jesus took his disciples near the end of his ministry to a spot called the Gates of Hell, where he told them that he would build his church and not prevail against it. The most famous biblical archaeologist, Nelson Walters, discovered an inscription supposedly written by the watchers or fallen angels on the summit. Mount Hermon was also known for its evil associations, including the descent of the watchers before the flood. In the Old Testament, the region was known as Bashan, controlled by 2 giants, the Rephaim and the Anakim, descendants of the fallen angels. King Jeroboam built a pagan religious center at Dan, just south of Mount Hermon, where the Israelites worshipped Baal instead of Jehovah. The area was one of the most evil places on earth, with the United Nations outpost on the top. At the top of Mount Hermon lay the ruins of an ancient pagan temple complex, which contained a limestone stele or standing stone inscribed with an oath that the watchers supposedly made with each other to corrupt the genetics of humans and teach them forbidden knowledge. Charles Warren, one of Israel's greatest archaeologists, found the Temple Mount between 1867 and 1870. He climbed up the steep sides of Mount Hermon, where he found the southern peak's rocky terrain appeared to accommodate sacrificial altars to the ancient gods of the mountain. After removing the marker, Warren carried it down the mountain and had it inspected by scholars and translators. The writing on the stone appeared to read, "According to the command of the greatest and most holy God, those who take the oath proceed from here." The site of a temple documented by Warren is now sealed off by the UN building, and no modern photographs or videos exist of it. The standing stone or stele is currently housed at the British Museum, but it is no longer displayed to the public for unknown reasons. It is believed that the disciples of Jesus likely saw them on Mount Hermon, 6 days after Peter's confession of faith at the gates of hell. Jesus likely chose that spot around the temple complex in the presence of that standing stone, as it was the location of Satan's minion attack on the world and God's counterattack at that same location. This location is significant in the Bible, as it is mentioned in Genesis 6:4, where giants were present on earth, and the sons of God came into the daughters of men and bore children to them. About 1,000 years before the flood, 200 fallen angels, possibly at the command of Satan, descended from their heavenly abode and began to try to corrupt the DNA of men by crossbreeding with humans. The Book of Enoch, a well-respected book quoted even by Jesus and found in the Dead Sea Scrolls, tells a similar story to Genesis 6. The angels, the children of heaven, saw and lusted after them, and they took an oath to each other to carry out Satan's plan to corrupt the DNA of mankind. Enoch knew and probably had told the others that God planned to send a savior the next day. The inscription on a standing stone on Mount Hermon, which is believed to be an oath from the greatest and most holy God, it suggests that the Messiah would come from the seed of the woman, and if they corrupted all the DNA of women, there could be no Messiah. The inscription is not a Greek word, but a logogram, Baal symbol, which was used by the Sumerians for their god. The United Nations building an outpost near the ancient pagan temple, which blocks access to the temple. The UN Disengagement Observer Force, located between Israel and Syria, is part of the covenant with the many, which may launch the tribulation period. Let's note that the standing stone has a pact symbol, suggesting that the fallen angels may be taking orders from Satan or the UN. The United Nations Disengagement Observer Force, which is located there to keep peace between Israel and Syria. This peacekeeping force may be part of the covenant with the many, which may be the source of the end-time events mentioned in Daniel 9:27. There is an interconnection of biblical storylines at the site, including the descended fallen angels and Jesus' transformation before his disciples. UN building on Mount Hermon is part of something called What the UN Do, which is part of the covenant with the many. This connection to the Dead Sea Scrolls, the formation of the United Nations, and UFO sightings all seem to have been necessary for the end times. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe for more interesting biblical content. Don't forget to share this video.